All right, another model, Cisco 3-layer model. Right, we gotta learn it. We gotta know a little bit about it. They'll ask you, they'll ask you about the core, the distribution, the access. I got them back here. All right, and I'll explain a little bit about everything briefly, and then we'll do different lessons, because remember, I am breaking this up into little tiny morsels. All right, so you guys can understand. But again, you need to get into no major detail. In this particular lesson, we'll talk about the core. The core is literally the core of your network, right? The main router. The router that's going to send information from one building to another building, from one campus to another campus. What is it that you need to be concerned with at the core? Speed, right? You're not going to have a 56K connection going up there, right? You're going to have Metro E. You're going to have, OC 151 lines. You're going to have, I don't know if even that exists. You're going to have major bandwidth going across. You want to minimize the amount of things that are going. You don't want to have intra-VLAN connectivity going on in your core router, right? Your core router has to be the one with the least amount of work. Its main purpose is to pass information across. So one of the things you need to be concerned with your core router, not only speed, because remember, everything gets, filtered or whatever within your distribution layer. But we'll get into that one in the next lesson. But your core router, definitely this is not a good representation. I'm just showing you the 3 layers, because your core router, you need to have redundancy. Because if one of those links goes down, every user gets affected, right? So you definitely want major redundancy on your core routers in case a link goes down somewhere. Unless the link goes down, both links, let's say you have 2 links going to the other side of the router, right? You have another router that's another core router. You definitely want to have redundant links to all your core connections. You want to have that, because if not, it's going to affect all your users. So what Cisco's trying to tell you here is that, hey, leave your core router alone. Don't do any kind of policy-based routings or inter-VLAN routings or anything like that. You want to make sure that your core router, its main purpose is speed, get information across. So another thing that you need to be considering, hey, what routing protocol am I going to use? Am I going to use RIP in there? That sends every 30 seconds its routing table, even entire routing table, even though you can mess around with the timers. Am I going to use EIGRP? Well, are you using Cisco routers? Are you going to use OSPF? Or, hey, even better, are you going to use static routes? But depending how big your enterprise network is. I'm going to find a definition for that enterprise network. But anyway, so depending how big your network is, you may want to use static routes. That way there is no overhead whatsoever. There's nothing being sent out. You got static routes, so hey, you may be using default routes. Who knows? The whole point is that you need to make that decision. But definitely redundancy, extremely important at the core router. So information and speed to get from one side to the next. So you got to make a decision on how much data is going across and how important this data is, that you cannot lose a link and then all of a sudden nobody can get anywhere. So that's what Cisco is trying to tell you here in this core layer. Now, as far as all the layers in total, remember, one of the things that Cisco says, another conceptual blueprint not necessarily needs to be 3 separate layers, okay? But just you have an idea of what to do, okay? So again, core layer, speed, all right, and redundancy, very important. Choose the right type of routing, and if you're going to use a dynamic routing protocol, which routing protocol you're going to use. See you in the next one.